Every woman holds secrets she may never voice, desires and fantasies that stay locked in the quiet corners of her mind. She won't post about them online, won't share them in conversations with her friends, and won't confess them to the man she truly wants. Instead, she hides them behind casual words. "I'm fine," or "I don't really think about that." But the truth is, she does. Every woman carries private fantasies of surrender, of being wanted with intensity, of letting go completely, of being chosen above all others. These fantasies are powerful because they expose vulnerability. Saying them out loud could risk rejection, misunderstanding, or even shame. So women bury them, disguise them, and pretend they don't exist. But once you learn to see these silent truths for what they are, you unlock a side of female psychology almost no man understands. And once you understand it, you'll never look at women the same way again. 1. The desire for total surrender. Here's something most men overlook. Even the most independent, self-reliant woman harbors a hidden craving to surrender. This isn't weakness, it's relief. In daily life, she carries responsibilities, makes decisions, and shows the world she needs no one. But deep within, she longs to find a man strong enough to take control so she can finally let go. This is not about force. It's about power, but a very specific kind of power. Power that is earned, not demanded. Felt, not shouted. When she imagines surrender, it's not to just anyone, it's to a man who has mastery over himself. Psychologists call this an erotic power exchange, intimacy that grows deeper not through equal control but through polarity. One leads, the other releases. In her fantasy, she doesn't need to think, plan, or fight. The man she desires guides with clarity, speaks with conviction, and acts with confidence. And the more certain he is, the more she longs to let go. But here's the catch. Most men smother this fantasy by avoiding leadership. They hesitate, they wait for her to decide, they pass responsibility back to her. Every time that happens, her secret longing fades. The rare man who knows how to lead without arrogance, who makes her feel safe enough to release control, that man becomes the center of her darkest and most intoxicating dream. 2. The craving to be desired without restraint. On the surface, women are constantly admired. Compliments, stares, DMs, attention, it never stops. But to her, most of it feels shallow, temporary, or driven by convenience. What she secretly fantasizes about isn't more attention, but deeper attention. She longs for a kind of raw, unrestrained desire that makes her feel like the only woman in existence. This doesn't mean desperation. It doesn't mean clinging or neediness. What she wants is depth, desire that runs so powerfully that she feels it in your gaze, in your presence, in your silence. She wants to feel that if the world collapsed tomorrow, you'd still want her with the same intensity. Psychologists call this the total object of desire effect, when someone feels completely consumed, not just their body, but their mind, their soul, their quirks, their flaws, their everything. She won't admit this desire out loud. Society trains women to hide it, to downplay their hunger to be wanted. They fear judgment and misunderstanding. But the man who understands this fantasy doesn't express it with endless compliments or exaggerated affection. He shows it through stillness, through presence, through a gaze that lingers with meaning. His attention is focused, his touch deliberate, his silence charged with energy. She feels it deep in her bones. The fire under his calm is hers alone. And that restrained intensity, far more than words, awakens the fantasy she'll never confess, the fantasy of being desired with unshakable passion by a man who could have anyone, but chooses only her. 3. The longing to lose control. Control dominates much of a woman's daily life. She controls her appearance, her emotions, her reputation, her words. She knows how to stay composed, how to smile when she doesn't feel like smiling, how to maintain an image that protects her. But in her most private fantasies, she imagines losing all of that. She dreams of passion so intense that control doesn't matter anymore. Picture this. Her body reacts before her mind, her voice rises without planning, her emotions spill out unfiltered. With most people, she's polished and composed. But with the man who awakens this fantasy, she's raw, chaotic, unrestrained, and instead of being judged, she's embraced. Psychologists call this erotic disinhibition, the longing to break free from social rules, to stop performing perfection, and to experience herself fully without fear. But there's a condition. This fantasy only ignites with trust. Without trust, losing control feels dangerous. With trust, it feels divine. Most men never see this side of a woman because they're too focused on their own performance, or ego. But the man who notices her, listens to her, and creates a space where her storm can erupt safely, that man becomes unforgettable. And here's the paradox. The more disciplined and grounded you are, the more freedom she feels to be wild with you. That freedom, the ability to completely let go, is the very heart of her unspoken fantasy. 4. The desire to be chosen above all others. She lives in a world filled with attention. Likes, comments, glances, messages, signals of desire surround her every single day. On the surface, she may act unaffected, brushing it off like it means nothing. But deep inside, her greatest longing is to be chosen. Not just noticed. Not just wanted for a moment. But chosen fully in a world overflowing with options. This fantasy isn't about jealousy. It's about safety. She doesn't want to feel like she's just one more option in a man's crowded list. She wants to feel like the rarest treasure, the one who stands apart from everyone else because he wanted her, above all. Psychologists often describe this as the power of selective attention. When someone has endless options but deliberately focuses on one, the value of that choice skyrockets. That's what women secretly long for, not just to attract, but to be selected. She wants proof, in actions and consistency, that she isn't simply another face in the crowd. This doesn't have to mean grand gestures. What proves her fantasy real are the subtle but powerful choices a man makes. Canceling other plans when she needs him. Introducing her not as a friend, but as my woman. Making decisions that keep her in mind, even when easier paths lie elsewhere. Society teaches women to hide this desire, to pretend they don't care if he's texting others or keeping options open. But behind closed doors, in her private thoughts, her heart trembles for the man who chooses her fully. And here's the truth, consistency is what awakens this fantasy. Not one big promise, but the ongoing, undeniable reality that she matters most. That's when she feels secure enough to stop wondering, stop doubting, and start trusting. A man who provides that consistency becomes the fortress she longs to shelter in. 5. The need to be fully seen. Every woman knows how to polish her image. She can dress up, smile, and project strength to the world. But what she often fantasizes about, quietly, secretly, isn't just being admired. It's being seen. Not just her beauty. Not just her body. But her mind, scars, flaws, and fears. She dreams of being with a man who doesn't flinch at her imperfections, who notices the tiny details most overlook, who respects the battles she's fought to become who she is. In this fantasy, her vulnerability isn't shameful, it's sacred. Her intelligence isn't ignored, it's celebrated. Her wounds aren't dismissed, they're honored. Psychologists call this an integrated identity. It's the human need not only for love, but for recognition of the whole self. Studies of women's fantasies, whether about submission, power, or passion, often show a consistent thread, a blending of eroticism with emotional safety. She doesn't just want to be wanted, she wants to be known. This doesn't mean dramatic speeches or extravagant gifts. To awaken this fantasy, it's about small but powerful acts, remembering what she whispered once, laughing at her quirks, encouraging her ambitions, holding space for her pain. It's noticing the layers beneath her surface and refusing to turn away. When a woman feels truly seen, not just admired, something extraordinary happens. Her defenses soften. Her walls drop. She no longer has to perform perfection. She can finally be herself, fully, without fear of rejection. And in that space, attraction transforms into something deeper, devotion. Most men will never understand these hidden desires because women are trained not to reveal them. They laugh them off, they deny them, they bury them. But the man who learns to recognize these silent truths holds a kind of power that no tricks or lines can give. He becomes unforgettable, not because of what he says, but because of how he makes her feel. When she feels she can surrender without fear, when she feels your desire burning with depth, when she feels free enough to lose control, when she knows she's chosen above all others, when she realizes she's truly seen, her connection to you becomes unshakable. And here's the final secret: these fantasies aren't rare. Almost every woman holds them, whether she admits it or not. They live quietly in the background of her mind, shaping her attraction, fueling her daydreams, influencing her choices. Once you understand them, you begin to notice the subtle signs, the glances, the pauses, the quiet hints that reveal them. Most men miss these signals because they're distracted, insecure, or afraid of stepping into leadership. But once you start noticing them, everything changes. You begin to connect with women on a level that feels magnetic, almost electric. And she'll feel it too, even if she never puts it into words. If you're ready to uncover more of these hidden truths about female psychology, the ones women silently hope you'll never figure out, then this is just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button right now and drop the word secret in the comments if you've ever felt like a woman wanted more from you than she was willing to admit. Because once you understand these hidden desires, you'll never miss the signals again.